Friends, look at the world around you. It is a world that is screaming for your attention. It is a world that is constantly poking you, prodding you, testing you. It wants to see if it can move you. It wants to see if it can make you dance. It wants to see if it can steal your peace, hijack your emotions, and dictate the terms of your life. Every single day, you are bombarded with triggers. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you feel that rush of heat in your chest. A colleague takes credit for your work, and you feel that knot tighten in your stomach. A loved one says something thoughtless, and you feel that sharp sting of hurt. A stranger online posts something ignorant, and you feel that surge of outrage. The news cycle spins a story of fear, and you feel that creeping anxiety. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can react. You can let that external event reach inside you, grab hold of your emotional strings, and pull. You can let the world become the puppeteer, and you the puppet. When you react, you are giving your power away. You are saying, my state of being is dependent on what happens outside of me. You are making yourself touchable, reachable, and controllable by the chaos of the universe. But there is another way. There is a path less traveled. It is the path of the person who does not react. It is the path of the person who is untouchable. Think about that word, untouchable. It doesn't mean you are cold. It doesn't mean you are heartless. It doesn't mean you are a robot devoid of feeling. It means that your core, your essence, your center of gravity is so strong, so rooted, so anchored, that the storms of life cannot uproot you. They can blow all around you. The wind can howl, the rain can lash, the thunder can crash, but you remain standing, solid, and undisturbed at your center. The man who doesn't react is like a mountain. The clouds can pass over the mountain. The snow can cover its peak. The sun can beat down upon its slopes. The wind can erode its surface over millennia. But the mountain does not flinch. The mountain does not chase the clouds away. The mountain does not beg the sun to stop shining. The mountain simply is. It exists in a state of complete, unshakable being. It is not touched by the weather. It remains the mountain. You are that mountain. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your circumstances. You are the awareness that watches the thoughts come and go. You are the space in which the emotions rise and fall. You are the constant, unchanging witness to the ever-shifting drama of your life. When you realize this, you become untouchable. An insult comes your way. Before, it would have pierced your heart. You would have spent hours, days, even weeks replaying it in your mind. You would have constructed elaborate arguments in your defense. You would have let that one small comment fester into a wound. But now, as the untouchable one, you see the insult for what it is. It is just a sound. It is just a vibration in the air. It is a collection of words strung together by another person's perception, another person's pain, another person's story. It has nothing to do with you. It is aimed at the idea of you, the persona, the mask that you wear, but it cannot touch the real you. You observe it, you acknowledge it, and you let it pass. It comes, and it goes, and you remain. You are untouchable. A failure comes your way. Before it would have defined you. You would have collapsed under its weight. You would have told yourself stories of your own inadequacy. You would have let that one setback color your entire future. But now, you see failure differently. You see it as data. You see it as feedback. You see it as a stepping stone, not a stop sign. The event happens. There is a result that was not the one you wanted. You feel a natural pang of disappointment, but you do not let that pang become an identity. You do not let that moment of disappointment define your entire existence. You observe the feeling, you learn the lesson, and you adjust your course. You remain moving forward. You are untouchable. A great joy comes your way. A victory, a celebration. Before, you might have become addicted to that high. You might have clung to it, afraid that it would leave. Your happiness would have been conditional on that moment, lasting forever. But you know it won't. You know that joy, like sorrow, is a passing cloud. So when it comes, you savor it. You are fully present in it. You appreciate it with every fiber of your being. But you do not grasp it. You do not build your house upon it. You let it flow through you. A beautiful fleeting gift. And when it passes, as all things must, you are not left devastated. You are not left empty. You are full. You are full of the experience, full of the gratitude, and you remain steady and complete. You are untouchable. This is the ultimate freedom. The freedom from being a puppet. The freedom from being jerked around by the whims of fate and the opinions of others. It is the freedom to choose your response, and in that choice lies your ultimate power. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. What happens to you is neutral. It is your reaction that gives it meaning." You can choose to give it the meaning of devastation, or you can choose to give it the meaning of growth. You can choose to see an obstacle as a wall, or you can choose to see it as a chance to climb. The event is the same. The only variable is you. Think about the people you admire most in history. Think about Nelson Mandela, spending 27 years in prison. They tried to break him. They tried to crush his spirit. They isolated him. They degraded him. They took away his freedom. But they could not touch him. His oppressors controlled his body, but they could not control his mind. They could not control his spirit. He did not react to their cruelty with hatred and bitterness. He chose a different response. He used that time to reflect, to learn, to grow, and to refine his vision for a free South Africa. He emerged from that prison, not as a broken man, but as a man of profound dignity and wisdom, ready to lead his nation into a new era. He was untouchable. Think about Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the horrors of the Nazi concentration camps. He was stripped of everything. His possessions, his family, his freedom, even his identity, reduced to a number tattooed on his arm. In that hell on earth, he made a profound discovery. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Even in that extreme situation where his external reality was one of unimaginable suffering, he found that there was one thing they could not touch. They could not touch his inner freedom. They could not dictate his response. He found meaning in his suffering, and in doing so, he transcended it. He was untouchable. You are not in a concentration camp. You are not in a prison cell for 27 years. The triggers you face are, relatively speaking, small. If these giants of the human spirit could find their center in the deepest pits of hell, can you not find your center when someone is rude to you at the grocery store? If they could choose their response when faced with death, can you not choose your response when faced with a difficult email? The principle is the same. The scale is different, but the principle is the same. The man who doesn't react is untouchable, no matter the circumstance. So how do you build this unshakable car? How do you become this mountain? It is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice. It is a discipline. It is a muscle you must build. one rep at a time. The first step is awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. Begin to simply notice when you are being triggered. When you feel that familiar flush of anger, or that clench of anxiety, or that sting of hurt, just stop. Do nothing. Just observe it. Say to yourself, there is anger, or there is fear, or there is the feeling of being offended. By naming it, you create a tiny space between you and the emotion. In that space, you are no longer the emotion. You are the observer of the emotion. And the observer is always calm. The observer is always untouched. The second step is the pause. Between the stimulus and the response, there is a gap. In that gap lies your freedom. Most people live their entire lives without ever finding that gap. The stimulus happens, and their response is automatic, like a reflex. Someone pushes a button, and they jump. But you can learn to extend that gap. When you feel the trigger, take a breath. Take one conscious breath. In that single breath, you have reclaimed your power. You have interrupted the autopilot. You have given yourself a moment to choose. You can say, I will not react now. I will observe. I will breathe. I will choose. The third step is the choice. After the pause, you get to decide. You get to choose your response rather than having it chosen for you. And you get to choose from a place of wisdom, from a place of strength, from a place of your highest self, rather than from a place of fear, anger, or ego. What response serves you? What response aligns with the person you want to be? What response keeps you in your power? Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Sometimes it is a calm, measured word. Sometimes it is simply walking away. But whatever it is, you are the one who chose it. You are no longer the puppet. You are the puppeteer. This practice will not make your life perfect. It will not remove all challenges, but it will change your relationship to every single one of them. Problems will become puzzles. Obstacles will become opportunities. Insults will become meaningless noise. You will move through the world with a new kind of grace, a new kind of power, a new kind of peace. People will notice. They will wonder why you are so calm when everyone else is panicking. They will wonder why you are so centered when the world is spinning out of control. They will wonder why you don't get drawn into the drama, the gossip, the petty squabbles. They will try to test you. They will try to provoke you. They will throw their best punches, trying to get a reaction. And they will find nothing. They will find a calm, solid, unmovable presence. They will find someone they cannot touch. And that is when your true influence begins. Because the person who cannot be controlled by the environment becomes the one who can control the environment. The person who is not swayed by the emotions of the crowd becomes the one who can lead the crowd. Your calm becomes contagious. Your strength becomes a beacon. Your untouchable nature becomes a source of inspiration for everyone who is still struggling, still flailing, still being tossed around by the storms of life. You become a safe harbor in a chaotic world. And that, my friends, is a powerful thing to be. But let me be clear. Being untouchable does not mean being unreachable. It does not mean building walls around your heart. It does not mean becoming cynical or detached from the world. In fact, it is the opposite. When you are no longer at the mercy of your own reactions, you have more capacity to truly connect with others. You can listen to someone's pain without being overwhelmed by it. You can offer help without expecting anything in return. You can love deeply without clinging, because your happiness is not dependent on that love being returned in a specific way. You can be fully present for another person, because you are fully present for yourself. The untouchable person is the one who can walk into a room full of conflict and bring peace. The untouchable person is the one who can sit with a friend in their deepest sorrow and offer a comforting, steady presence. The untouchable person is the one who can celebrate another's success without a shred of jealousy, because their own sense of worth is not defined by comparison. This is the paradox. By becoming untouchable, you become more capable of genuine, profound, and compassionate connection. You are not a rock that is isolated and cold. You are a mountain that is part of a living, breathing ecosystem. Life thrives on your slopes. You provide shelter. You provide stability. You provide a perspective that those in the valleys cannot see. So how do you live this? Day by day. It starts in the small moments. It starts when you wake up in the morning. Before you reach for your phone, before you let the world rush in, you take 5 minutes. You sit in silence. You breathe. You connect with that inner space that is untouched. You set an intention. You say to yourself, today, I will not be a puppet. Today, I will choose my responses. Today, I will be the mountain. It continues when you are driving and someone cuts you off. You feel that surge, but this time, you remember. You pause. You take a breath. You see the other driver, not as an enemy, but as a fellow human being, probably stressed, probably late, probably dealing with their own storms. And you let it go. You smile. You have won a small victory. You have stayed untouchable. It continues when you are at work and someone says something undermining. You feel that sting, but you pause. You breathe. You realize that their words are a reflection of them, not of you. You choose to respond with professionalism and grace. You do not descend to their level. You have stayed untouchable. It continues when you are at home and a loved one is in a bad mood and takes it out on you. You feel the impulse to react, to defend yourself, to strike back. But you pause. You breathe. You see their pain behind their words. You choose to respond with patience and kindness. You have stayed untouchable. Each time you do this, you strengthen the muscle. Each time you choose not to react, you become more untouchable. Each small victory builds upon the last, until one day you realize that the old triggers have lost their power. They are like empty threats. They come, but they find no home in you. They cannot land. They cannot stick. You are like Teflon for drama. You are like a shield for negativity. You are untouchable. And think about what this does for your life. Think about the energy you will save. Think about all the hours you have spent fuming, worrying, regretting, and replaying. All that energy wasted. All that life force poured down the drain of reactivity. When you stop reacting, you reclaim all of that energy. You have it available for creation. You have it available for love. You have it available for building the life you truly want. Think about the clarity you will gain. When your mind is not clouded by constant emotional storms, it becomes sharp, focused, and clear. You see solutions where others see problems. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You make better decisions. You live a more intentional life. Think about the peace you will experience. Not the peace of a quiet room, but the deep abiding peace that exists even in the midst of chaos. The peace that the world cannot give and the world cannot take away. This is your birthright. This is what awaits you on the other side of reactivity. The world will always try to move you. That is its nature. The stock market will go up and down. Relationships will have good days and bad days. Your health will have its peaks and valleys. People will praise you and people will criticize you. You will have successes and you will have failures. This is the nature of life. It is a river of constant change. You can either be a leaf on that river, tossed and turned by every current and every eddy, or you can be the riverbed. The water flows over you, but you remain. You are the constant. You are the unmoved mover. You are the awareness in which all of this change is happening. This is not about becoming passive. This is not about becoming a doormat. It is the opposite. It is about becoming so powerful, so centered, so rooted, that you can act from a place of pure intention rather than from a place of reaction. A reactive person is weak because their actions are dictated by circumstance. A responsive person is strong because their actions are dictated by their own conscious choice. When you act from a place of non-reaction, your actions have a different quality. They are cleaner. They are more effective. They are not contaminated by fear, anger, or ego. You can make the hard decisions without being paralyzed by anxiety. You can have the difficult conversations without being driven by the need to be right. You can pursue your goals with a relentless, quiet determination that is not swayed by temporary setbacks. This is the mindset of the champion. Watch any great athlete in the moment of pressure. The game is on the line. The crowd is roaring. The stakes are at their highest. What do? They slow down. They focus. They breathe. They do not react to the pressure. They do not let the moment dictate their performance. They become calm in the center of the storm. They become untouchable. And in that state, they perform at their peak. This is the mindset of the great leader. When everyone else is panicking, the leader is calm. When everyone else is reacting with fear, the leader is assessing with clarity. They are the eye of the hurricane. They do not get swept up in the collective emotion. They stand apart. They see the bigger picture, and they guide others to safety. They are untouchable. This is the mindset of the sage, the person who has lived long enough and learned deeply enough to know that most of what we worry about never happens. That most of what upsets us is insignificant in the grand scheme of things. That peace is not found in changing the world, but in changing our relationship to it. They smile at the chaos. They are unmoved by the drama. They are untouchable. And this can be your mindset. It is available to you right now, in this very moment. You don't need to wait until you have more money, or a better job, or a different partner. You don't need to wait until your circumstances change. The only thing you need to change is your awareness. The only thing you need to do is to stop outsourcing your emotional state to the world. You are the source of your own peace. You are the source of your own power. You are the source of your own freedom. It has always been inside you. It has just been covered up by a lifetime of habitual reactivity. But you can peel back those layers. You can return to your natural state of unshakable calm. So I leave you with this challenge. For the next 24 hours, try an experiment. Just for one day, commit to not reacting. When the trigger comes, pause, breathe, choose. Notice how many times you almost got pulled into the drama. Notice how much energy you save. Notice how much clearer you feel. Notice the moments of peace that arise in spaces where there used to be only chaos. See how it feels to be a little bit more untouchable. And then, do it again the next day. And the next. And the next. Make it a practice. Make it a discipline. Make it a way of life. Because the world does not need more people who react. The world is full of reactors. It is full of people who are tossed around by every wind of opinion, every wave of emotion, every shift in circumstance. The world is drowning in reactivity. What the world needs is more people who are anchored, more people who are centered, more people who are untouchable. Be that person. Be the one who doesn't flinch. Be the one who doesn't crumble. Be the one who doesn't lose their cool. Be the one who brings calm to the storm. Be the one who can be trusted with the weight of responsibility, because you cannot be broken by the pressure. Be the mountain. Be the riverbed. Be the eye of the storm. Be the man, the woman who does not react. Because the man who doesn't react is not just untouchable. He is free. He is powerful. He is at peace. Go out there and build that unshakable core. Go out there and claim your untouchable nature. The world is waiting for you. But you will no longer be waiting for the world. You will simply be. And in your being, you will find a strength you never knew you had. Now, go. Be untouchable.